Hello and welcome back to Stella's Scauldron. Today I'm following up with Ernie's Market. To date, since we released our Ernie's Market segment calling out the employee who kicked out the CEO of Confluence, Ernie's has not reached out or been reachable for comment. Messages have been left and never returned. Since our segment went live, this is how Ernie's responded. Allison Chamberlain, the employee who gleefully bragged in a video about kicking Confluence's CEO out of the store.
Probably the one person that you want to punch in the face. And it was my pleasure to refuse service to him. Mr. Rutherford came in and I refused service to him. I told him he can move on to the Superjet.
Is still employed, and her sister, Patty Howe, posed with Sean Needham outside Ernie's. Needham thanked Patty for standing up for medical liberty and Ernie's for not making him disclose my personal medical information. He also wanted her to enjoy his book, which he has been promoting since 2019, before the pandemic. In fact, it has nothing to do with COVID-19. It's currently ranked 644,054 on Amazon sellers list. In case you're wondering who Patty is, she's actually Allison's sister, as well as the unofficial manager of the store. Her boyfriend is the owner of record at Ernie's. So no matter how abhorrent Allison's behavior, she was never going to be fired. Something else to note. Patty and Allison's other sister is Tina Irvine, the failed homophobic, anti-mask, anti-vaccine school board hopeful competing for a seat. She lost in the preliminary elections running up to the general in 2021. So this family doesn't seem afraid of controversy, and they are absolutely unrepentant in their behavior. Some of you may be wondering who Sean Needham is and why Patty posing with him in front of Ernie's is doubling down. Sean Needham is the pharmacist and owner of Moses Lake Professional Pharmacy in Moses Lake, Washington. Sean Needham is also the author of Sickened: How the Government Ruined Healthcare and How to Fix It, a self-help book on, wait for it, medical ethics, and a YouTube and Rumble personality who puts out content like How Vitamin D Stops COVID in Its Tracks, Who is Legally Liable for Vaccine Harm, How Early COVID Treatment Was Suppressed for Vaccine Profits, Can the Government Mandate Vaccines? Nuremberg Code Violation. Why is ivermectin still considered unsafe for COVID-19 treatment? Why is hydroxychloroquine hard to get for COVID-19? COVID-19 wasn't deadly enough for Big Pharma. Socialism versus communism. USSR. USSR communists steal degree from 4.0 student for believing in God? Something to note, Olga is an employee of Ready Medi, aka Pacific Northwest Wellness, owned by Carl Lambert. That name might sound familiar because Carl Lambert is in the center of our local ivermectin controversy for prescribing the unapproved drug to non-patients without actually meeting or doing a basic health screening in person. I'll link the articles and testimonials of people who almost lost their lives. In fact, Needham seems to partner with Ready Medi and Carl Lambert a lot. How physician and nursing training has been destroyed. Why Carl Lambert, ARNP, left the system. Spoiler alert, he didn't leave the system because he was still practicing through his own clinic, obviously, so he could prescribe ivermectin. One of my favorite arguments for why rogue pharmacists like Lambert are prescribing ivermectin is that they are somehow being selfless. You can trust them because there isn't any money in it, which is hilarious because ivermectin is made by fucking Merck. You know, the biggest of big pharmas, the ones that caused the distrust of pharmaceutical companies to begin with. Merck is in the news every 5 to 10 years with another ethics scandal. And even they themselves put out a statement in February 2021 that says that ivermectin doesn't work on COVID. But beyond that, you want to know how little money is involved in ivermectin. In a study that tracked spending on ivermectin between December 1st, 2020 and March 31st, 2021, people spent roughly $2.5 million per week on ivermectin. That's $130 million annually. That's not an insignificant amount of money. To talk about COVID-19 and give credence to himself, Needham invites people like Dr. Sabine Hazan, who is literally paid to speak for pharmaceutical companies. A literal paid pharma shill, according to her own website. And this might be petty, but if you're going to have an expert on your show, are you really going to spell her name wrong? How can you trust someone in the medical field who can't even spell his guest star's name right on more than one occasion? How good is your attention to detail? Well, I suppose we already know because he's supporting ivermectin as a COVID treatment. So that's the update. Ernie's is unapologetic about their treatment of Dr. Rutherford and doubled down by posing and promoting a snake oil salesman in the form of Sean Needham. We here at Progressive Devilry think it's important to identify the grifters in our community so we can safeguard the health and safety of our valley. When someone tries to sell you an alternative cure, always do your homework first. Thanks for watching, and let's make progress. If you're interested in supporting our channel and getting your name at the end of the episode, as a thank you, consider donating to our Patreon. We are also working on partnering with some local small businesses to make bumper stickers to devil your local conservatives. So keep your eyes peeled. As always, the sources for today's episode will be available in the description, as well as on our website. And if you have any questions or suggestions for a future episode, send an email to info@progressivedevilry.com.